What is your position on the role of money in politics, and what measures will you support to increase transparency and accountability in campaign finances?
Thank you for that question. This is a very important question when it comes to politics. Now, before I got into politics, I did not understand why is it that most people are not even involved in politics. Now, until I started fundraising and talking to people, I realized, and also studying about campaign finance laws, I realized how difficult is it for people to get involved in politics because money controls politics in America. Now, if you look around, most people who run for office are either lawyers or big business folks or people who have strong influences in Wall Street or big corporations and things like that. Now, I'll take you, for example, or anybody else in the room who has the energy, the willingness, or the ability to run and impact the community by changing maybe our schools or our police departments or fire departments or anything in the community. But if you don't have the financial backing, that's dead on arrival. And so I think that campaign financing has kept many folks who are willing to become agents of change in the community because they don't have friends who are millionaires or billionaires or have influence in Congress or in Washington to be able to help them even get started when it comes to politics. It's said that an average amount of money to be spent for running for Congress is $1.5 million. So someone who came from Cameroon or from any other part of the world with no money or came through the borders with no money, makes a minimum wage, sees how things are working in the United States, and want to see something change. Tell me how they could even get involved in starting a political career. Almost impossible. So it's something that I wish when I will be elected into Congress, I can change that because I know for a fact that there's a lot of people in our community, in our country, who want to see something different, but have no control because they don't have money. And that explains why you have people sitting in Congress for 40, 50 to 60 years, even as old and unproductive as they are, but there's nobody else who has the powers or the money to challenge those establishment folks. So that's the way it is right now. And I'm hoping that when I get into Congress, when I break that glass ceiling and open up the floodgates for many people across the country who can be agents of change to be able to do the same thing, and we can change that status quo. So thanks so much for having me on your show. It was really fun talking to you and expressing my views and what I'm going to do for my constituent when I eventually win. I want to make sure I say this. This election is not about me. It's about us. It's about members of our constituent. It's about taking care of or looking on fighting for our teachers, our doctors and lawyers and everybody else in our community who are struggling to make themselves life better for themselves and struggling to uplift themselves from poverty into the middle class. It's about the working families of this country who earn a minimum wage and want to see life better also for themselves. It's about our teachers who work so hard to educate our children and still get paid so less. It's about our firefighters who work 48 hours straight sometimes because there's no one to replace them on their shifts. It's about our veterans who, despite the fact that they fought and bled and some of them died for our country, come back and the promise we gave them when they were going was never kept. It's about our senior citizens who, at retirement, should be able to have access to an affordable health care for themselves. It's about our special needs kids who need the trained teachers so that they too, as citizens of this country, should be able to obtain the education they would need to face the competition that's coming from all across the world. And for anybody who do not believe in themselves. You can be something if you believe in it and put your mind on it. Thanks so much for having me.